It is June TBR time, which means it is time for some summer reading, she says as it pours down with rain outside. You gotta love that British summertime, am I right, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about my June TBR, so the list of books that I'm hoping to get to in June. I once again have quite a chilled month in June. I don't have too much going on. I'm mainly going to be thinking ahead and planning ahead for when I'm going to be away in July, so there'll be some extra content creation going on, filming and scheduling in advance. But in terms of like social obligations, like things I've got on like personally that will take me away from reading, it's honestly not too much. I just have a couple of author events to go to, a couple of like little bits here and there, so nothing should get in the way of my reading, which is good, because when I spoke to you guys in May, I was talking about how I was so far behind. I actually now, going into June, feel like I have only just properly recovered from being away for 2 weeks in April, to a point where I feel like I'm relatively back on top of content and like my obligations, and I'm starting to catch up on reading. So my May TBR was a big catch-up TBR of all of the things that I should have read but I hadn't gotten to, and I did say in that video that I was aiming to, or I would be happy if I got to 5 or 6 books from that video, and I did manage to read 5, which is great. I also had a very good reading month in May in terms of like the amount that I read. It just wasn't necessarily all from that TBR. So I'm once again in June going to be rolling over a few books. I think I'm rolling over 4 books, 5 technically. One's like an additional one that goes hand in hand with another one, so I'm rolling 4 to 5 books over from my May TBR, and my aim once again in June is to get to 5 or 6 of the books on this TBR, and then eventually we're gonna be 100% caught up and your girl will be happy. But I have some fun content that I'm looking at gradually introducing in the future, and some of these books will play a part in that as well. And then of course we have the book clubs. We always have the book clubs, but before we get into the books, I would just like to very briefly introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, which is once again the wonderful Skillshare. So Skillshare are an online community for creatives that provides thousands of on-demand classes taught by industry professionals to help you level up your skills in either your professional or your personal life. The topics that Skillshare covers are pretty much endless at this point. They have like illustration, photography, business management, productivity, crochet, sewing, watercolors, pretty much any artistic or creative pursuit that you can think of. My absolute favorite thing about Skillshare is that they serve a variety of people. So whether you are somebody who is looking to get into a new discipline, or you want to achieve something professionally or personally and you're not really sure how to, you can go to Skillshare to access those resources. But at the same time, if you're somebody who has a lot of experience and discipline, or you're looking to build upon the skills that you already have, Skillshare is also perfect for you. Now, I personally have been using Skillshare for a very long time now. It has been years, and I have used Skillshare to level up my game throughout both my professional and my private life, whether that be for creating graphics for my videos and my channel, or picking up a new craft. I learned to crochet through Skillshare, or learning how to organize my workflow to maximize my productivity. But one of my favorite Skillshare creators that I keep coming back to time and time again is Tabitha Park, who is a professional photographer. I'm pretty sure that the first ever Skillshare class that I took was by Tabitha on flat lay photography, back when I was making candles and I was like balancing YouTube and candles at the same time, because photography is something that has never come naturally to me. So I really appreciate Tabitha's classes, and I have since returned back to her to take a class on self-portraiture to help with Instagram. She also does like product and food photography, and as well as helping you to take the photos, she also has classes on things like editing them and how to do things like set up your lighting. One of my favorite things about her actually is that she helps you to use things that you may already have lying around your home instead of having to invest in fancy equipment. So if starting a new project sounds like something that you may be up for, or if you want to check out some of Tabitha's classes to level up your Instagram game, I am very happy to let you guys know that the first 500 people who click on the link at the top of my description box will receive a free 1-month trial to Skillshare Premium. And once again, a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this one. So I guess we better start off with those book clubs, and there is the one that's almost over. Guys, I'm excited, and that is A Memory of Light by Robert Jordan for the Wheel of Time long. This is the final book in Wheel of Time. I'm excited. I'm so ready for this to be over. I do have a couple of hard weeks ahead of me though, because I was supposed to be reading or listening to an hour a day of this, and I have not for quite a few days now. So it's going to be a struggle to have this in time for the live show, which is a little bit earlier than usual. It's going to be on the 8th of June on Sandra's channel. Her channel is Got a Thing for Things if you'd like to join us to hear our thoughts on the final book, and it's like 1,000 pages. So wish me luck. I know I'm gonna make it. I am procrastinating on it a little bit, as I always do, but knowing that this is the last time that I have to read one of these books is really gonna help me through this. So if you don't know what Wheel of Time is, it is an epic classic fantasy series following a struggle between the forces of dark and light. The premise of this world is that the same thing happens in every age, like the same pattern of events, and every time the wheel turns, the same things happen over and over. There are a handful of people who are able to influence this though, and they are the Dragon Reborn and the Tarvaren, who all have the ability to alter the weave of the world. And in this series, we are following this age's Dragon Reborn as he hopefully, fingers crossed, tips the world towards the light for good. So I keep getting the same question over and over again, and I have for the entirety of my time reading this series, and that is this series worth it? Is Wheel of Time worth it? And I honestly don't think that it is. At this point, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love this series. For me, the good bits are great, but the bits that aren't good are not worth slogging through to get to those good bits. Like, the good bits aren't good enough or frequent enough to outweigh how tedious this series has been. That being said, I am glad that I've read this, and I'm happy to be coming to the end of the journey, because I have seen this series influence on so many other things that I've read since I've started it, and that was kind of worth it for me. But generally, for the average reader, I would say if you read the first couple of books and you're not having a good time, then just put it down and move on. My other book club book for June is Lady of Embers by Melissa K. Roerich, which is the 4th book in the Lady of Darkness series. This one is for my Patreon book club, which is the Alphaho book club. It's kind of like catch-up book club, but instead of epic fantasy, we read fantasy romance. And this is a series that I have very mixed feelings about. It's kind of a Throne of Glass-esque series, following a girl who has been raised as an assassin, but she's currently estranged from the Assassin Lord because of the death of her friend, and she's been grieving that and has taken some time away from her work as an assassin. However, the Assassin Lord is eager to get her back into the fold, and he encourages her to come back by offering her a job that she can't refuse, because upon its completion, the Assassin Lord will give her access to the Fae Fire Prince, who is responsible for the death of her mother. So I read book 3 in May, and honestly, at the time of filming this, I'm only about 1/3 of the way through it, and I'm not having the best time, but the writing style is like easily digestible and is kind of compulsively readable, so I don't have any worries about continuing on with this one. And I'm really excited actually to see what the end of book 3 has in store, because I know from experience with the past 2 books that they tend to have quite dynamic endings. So in terms of Patreon, I also have a very casual like buddy read of the Pretty Little Liars series going on that we're also actually almost at the end of. In June, I'm going to hope to catch up, because I'm actually 1 month behind right now, and I seem to be continually 1 month behind. So I need to read book 13, which is Crushed, and book 14, which is Deadly. So this one is a young adult mystery series following a group of girls whose friend went missing, and this girl was like the kind of glue that held this group together, and so since she has disappeared, they have drifted apart. However, when the girls start to receive a series of threatening text messages from somebody who signs the messages anonymously as A, they have to come back together to get to the bottom of who is blackmailing them. This is a very easy palate cleansing series to me. It is full of like early, like mid 2000s to mid 2010s, like girl on girl hate toxicity, which is very nostalgic to me because it's the kind of media that I was surrounded by when I was a teenager, unfortunately. So this is not a series that I would recommend for people kind of jumping into it like with no prior knowledge of Pretty Little Liars, but if you did enjoy the series back in the day, or you're a similar age to me, then it can be a fun one. It's not quite as good now as it was in the first 8 books, but I'm actually still having a good time with it, so I'm good to go and continue on until the end of this 16 book series. This could actually be one of the longest series I've ever read, which is insane. And now for the pesky Patreon picks. So I am currently 4 picks behind. I finally read Daughter of the Drowned Empire. Are you proud of me? I hope you are. I'm currently working on a reading vlog. It's just kind of like a regular weekly reading vlog, but where I focused on some of the books that I need to read for Patreon. So the book club book, the buddy read book, and also like a couple of the Patreon picks, or at least I'm hoping to get to a couple of them. We'll see. But Daughter of the Drowned Empire definitely has been gotten to. And I'm hoping to do the same in June. So amidst the Shelve It or Scrap It reading I'm going to be doing, I'm hoping to take another week out to focus on clearing through this backlog of Patreon picks that I have. So if you're unfamiliar with the Patreon pick, the top tier of my Patreon, the Inner Circle, can recommend a book that gets added into this little cup, and every month I pull one out and I have to read it like in the couple of months that follow. So it's like recommendations from my patrons. So the ones that I currently have outstanding I'll run through quite quickly because they have been here for a while, but I am hoping to clear through another like 2 to 3 of them in June. So the first one we have is Rouge, which is Caitlin's pick. This one is I'm pretty sure it's a dark romance retelling of a tragic play, although I'm not sure which one. I have this one on KU and I'm expecting it to be a quick indie fun read. I also have Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is Debbie's pick. I so wanted to get to this in May, but I have to listen to the audiobook of this. And until I finish this, I can't listen to the audiobook of Dungeon Crawler Carl. Don't worry, I've been getting your guys like insistences that I pick up the audio. I just need to clear my audio schedule so that I can like fully immerse myself in it. And I also have this one out on KU as well. So at least for the beginning, I'm planning to listen and read along at the same time, and then maybe continue just on audio if I'm not having any issues like following it. But this one is a lit RPG series where the world has sunk below the earth, and it's created like a dungeon below the earth which people traverse for a televised game show, which I'm assuming has some pretty attractive prizes. Heard amazing things about this series. Not sure if it's for me, but I'm eager to give it a go. Then we have Shadow Kissed by Rebecca L. Garcia. This one is Jennifer's pick, and it is a fantasy romance first book in a series concerning vampires, I think. And then the one for May, the last one that we pulled, is technically An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington. This one is Rebecca's pick. However, I did discuss last month that to be able to read this one, I am going to have to reread The Shadow of What Was Lost. So later this month, I think towards the middle to the end of June, I'm going to be making a video which is essentially going to be a TBR that features this series amongst many others. And it is essentially going to be a list of series that I have started, I want to say at least a year prior to now, where I have read the first book and I loved it. So eager to continue on, had a great time, and then I just haven't. And from there, I would like to prioritize those series and gradually chip away at them one by one, starting off with the Lycanius series by James Islington. I have come to accept at this point that I have to be disciplined about things to get through them, and I am hoping that the lack of Wheel of Time along in my life is going to help me to actually hold myself accountable, because I'm a big series reader. That is what I love, and guys, I'm not reading what I love at the minute. Like, I'm not continuing on with series, so I'm hoping to do a format of like 1 book a month until the series is finished. So it's looking likely I'm hoping to read The Shadow of What Was Lost in June, An Echo of Things to Come in July, and then potentially the last book in August, and then we'll move on to like a different series from that video until it's complete, and then we'll probably end up with a new full list of series that I have to go back and revisit. And now for the June pick, which in all honesty I'm probably only going to get to in July, but it's nice to know what they are regardless, and I do enjoy picking them out actually because it adds some spontaneity to the TBR. But I'm going to dig down and I'm going to grab this one. Oh, this is blue, so this one is a 2025 edition. The Kiss of Deception. This one's Natty's pick. So in 2025, I used to, through the start of my Patreon through till this year, I had my patrons pick whatever they wanted, like any book they wanted me to read. But since over the last couple of years, I've been trying to get on top of my TBR, I have from 2025 onwards been asking my patrons to pick from the books I already own, because I have quite an extensive TBR. There's something there for everyone. And Natty has picked The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I am very, very happy to finally be reading this, and actually, without giving away the theme, this book is a contender for the June episode of Shelve It or Scrap It. Whether it gets picked or not, I think there's maybe, let's do percentages, there's probably around a 20 to 25% chance that this book is going to be chosen, but it is one of the contenders for something that I may read. So it may get read in June after all. But this is one that I wanted for such a long time, and I waited until I could get a box set till all of the books were released so that the covers would be matching. Because I got this is released in the UK now, but when I was originally seeing this, it didn't have a UK publisher. So these ones are like the US paperbacks, but this is a series that I have seen around since my beginnings on BookTube. I'm pretty sure it was Ali from With Ali, previously hardback hoarder, who I originally saw talking about this, as well as a bunch of other fantastic creators that I adore. And so I kind of have this book on a pedestal, and I really, really hope I love it because I've been thinking about reading it for such a long time. But essentially it is a romantasy story about, I think she's a princess and she is set to be married, but she runs away from her own wedding and two people are following her. One is an assassin trying to kill her, and one is the prince that she was supposed to marry, and I'm pretty sure that you get all of their perspectives throughout the book, but you don't know which one is which. So you don't know who the assassin is, you don't know who the prince is, and neither does our main character. Now, because this is quite an old series now, is it like 2017, 2016, 2014, I feel like I can predict what our twist is going to be, but I'm hoping that the journey is still a great time regardless. Thank you so much to Natty for picking this one. I just have a couple of maybes to add to my TBR actually that I only really thought about since I am going to do author events this month. So the first author event I'm going to, I think, is in Leeds, and it is the Callie Hart event for Quicksilver, or the sequel to Quicksilver, but I haven't read Quicksilver. So when there are events near me for authors that I'm interested in, I do like to go. And I have actually, I never do this, and I kind of wish I hadn't for this because I normally don't, but I have added the book onto my ticket. So I'm getting the new hardback cover of Quicksilver, which honestly I don't need. I'm going to maybe read it on KU before the event, which, thinking about it, it's really early in June, so I'm probably not. But anyway, we're gonna add Quicksilver as an honorary addition to this TBR. Honestly, not a clue what it's about, just know it's a fantasy romance, very hyped. Everyone lost their mind over it, and I would quite like to do the same at some point. It would be nice to be that passionate about something for the first time in a long time. And then the second author I'm going to see, I think, is a York event, and that is for Maggie Stiefvater. So Maggie Stiefvater has a new release. Honestly, I've read one series by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the Wolves of Mercy Falls series. Really enjoyed it, but I haven't, like Maggie Stiefvater, while I loved her writing in that book, it's all I've read from her, and it was quite a while ago, so I haven't been like on top of her new releases. But seeing as I am going to see her, is it time that I start the Raven Boys? Should I do that? This is another series that BookTube put on a pedestal and has had on a pedestal the entire time that I've been here. And it's always one that I meant to circle around to, but haven't quite made it to. I don't know if this one is for me. I think it might be because I'm pretty sure it has that like contemporary world setting with a little bit of like occult and mysticism surrounding it. But I don't know whether I'm going to enjoy this one. If the writing is the same as the Wolves of Mercy Falls, then I feel like I would have a really good time with it, because Maggie Stiefvater has really atmospheric, rich writing that I can't help but enjoy, even in like a YA paranormal werewolf series. And when I read those books, it was like I was a few years past the point of enjoying that story, and I still liked the Wolves of Mercy Falls, so I feel like there's a good chance I'm really going to enjoy the Raven Boys as well. So here is part of my June TBR. I do of course have all of my ebooks, all of my extra Patreon picks as well. I think it's the Patreon picks because they are, like I said, I've shifted it now, so from 2025 onwards everyone has been picking from books that I already own, but because I'm like a little bit behind on Patreon picks, that is contributing to the fact that I'm not really reading much that I own at the minute, which we definitely need to fix because I do have that big old TBR I've been talking about. But anyway, do let me know down in the comments whether you have read any of these. Do you think I'm gonna like the Raven Boys? I think I'm gonna like the Kiss of Deception more if I had to like pick which one. Oh, maybe I could do like a reading YA favorites vlog. Not that I have time for that at all, but it's a thought. If you would like to let me know that you were here but you don't feel like you have anything to say, please leave me a like raven or crow emoji for the Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm pretty sure there is one, but if not, just leave me a bird. And once again, a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this one. And please don't forget that if you would like to take advantage of 1 free month of Skillshare Premium, then I do have a link in my description box that will award that to the first 500 people who click on it. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head to my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you'd like to join me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.